She said this: I see a church that is without walls. Everybody say without walls. You know, if you take the first letters of all three of those words, you put it together and you come up with the expression, wow. I want us to be a church that walks out and says, wow, we're not confined and limited to buildings and to a time of service and to an agenda of a worship service, but we make our neighborhood a mission. We make our schools a mission. We make our workplace a mission. At 310, there's a man by the name of Kiki Semi, who Elder Bob knows him very well. He went to school with Elder Bob. Well, we were just with him at a park a few days ago, and he was giving out candy to kids, and man, there must have been over 100 volunteers out there, and he says he does this every November. He networks with Catholic Charities and the USO Car Club, so you know, I got to ride in a lowrider for the first time. One of my childhood dreams came true. But the thing that I saw was, I sat there and I thought, this is the church. This is the church on a mission. See, too many churches only think about what they do within the church. But in the year 2013, we want to become missionary minded. We want to take the church outside. We want to see more arms of the church besides AAV. I thank God for what AAV is doing, because that's why God is blessing Great Life 684 with more and more people, because we're beginning to think missionary minded. So that's the first mission, is church on a mission. The second one is home on a mission. This is where we're believing God to use your home. We're believing God that you're going to open up your home so people can come in, and your home will just be more than just a dwelling place. It'll be more than just a family's address, but it will be a home that ministers to people. If you look at Acts chapter 2, verse 42, it says this: and they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, in the breaking of bread and in prayers. So the key word in that scripture is the word fellowship. Now you need to understand there are two types of home groups, and both can be happening simultaneously. One cannot do without the other. Many churches have tried to use one home group, which is called the fellowship group. Now the fellowship group is, well, let me give you the second one. The second one is the outreach group. Now, like I said, both have to feed one another. What is the fellowship group? The fellowship group is where everyone has things in common. We're all from the same church. We're not trying to evangelize one another. We're not trying to win anyone to the Lord. It's just a time where we break up into groups and we meet on a weekly basis. Now, the second group is called the outreach group. If you look at verse 44 to 47, it says, now all who believed were together and had all things in common. That's the fellowship. And sold their possessions and goods and divided them among all, as anyone had need. Verse 46, so continuing daily with one accord in the temple and breaking bread from house to house. Here comes the second outreach group. Second group, which is outreach group. They ate their food with gladness and simplicity of heart, and as a result, praising God and having favor with all the people, even the people outside of the church. And the Lord added to the church daily those who were being saved. So because these two groups were going on simultaneously at the same time, you had your fellowship group where everyone had everything in common. And then you had the outreach group where maybe those people didn't have anything in common with you, but the outreach group was done with the goal to win people to the Lord. So here's how it's going to happen in 2013. You know how in every year there's 4 quarters, and every quarter is divided into 3 months. The first 2 months of every quarter, for example, January and February, those will be fellowship group months. And then the third month, which is March, that will be outreach month. Now, on outreach month, this is when, let's say there are 4 families from our church who come together for fellowship. When it comes to the outreach month, those families will split. They'll open up their homes to their friends, and Pastor Dave and Pastor Debbie will be with you in all of those gatherings. How are we going to do that? Of course, through video. Just like you used to watch Rick Warren with 40 Days of Purpose. Well, Pastor Debbie and I are working on a curriculum right now where we will be speaking to your friends in your home, bringing them to the Lord, and we'll see the church grow like that. After 4 weeks of being in your home, maybe even earlier than that, they'd want to come to church, because we're going to talk about the importance of coming to church. Now, when they come to church, they probably have already been saved, or they're going to get saved. Now, after that, then they start transitioning into the fellowship group, and we start the process all over again. And then in April and May of the second quarter, we have fellowship group. And then what comes after May? June, we have the outreach group again, and we keep working it. It's going to be awesome. But I'm just asking you to pray. You may not understand fully what I'm talking about, but I want you to pray so that you can get my heart on this. And we're going to see not only a church on a mission, but we're going to set your home up as a home on a mission. And then finally, the third one is money on a mission. One of the missionaries, William Fettler, said this: "A man may die leaving upwards of $1 million without taking any of it upwards." What is he saying? Whatever money we make here stays here. So as the set man and as your pastor, I want to do everything that I can to divinely direct funds and finances that God has given to you that is proportioned for the ministry. The word says, not the word, but Hudson Taylor, who's also a missionary, he says this: God's work done God's way will never lack God's supply. You know, in Exodus chapter 35, verse 4 and 5, Moses stood in the place that I'm kind of standing in right now, and he was trying to get the people to put their money on a mission, and he was successful. In verse 4 and 5, he says, "And Moses spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing which the Lord commanded, saying, Take from among you an offering to the Lord. Whoever is of a willing heart, let him bring it as an offering to the Lord. Gold, silver, and bronze." And then he goes on and he talks about the things that he had commanded the people to bring. Now, he didn't command the people because he was this big hierarchy and he was this guy who was the boss. He just did it because he was divinely directed of God. And so you know what? The people went ahead and they did what Moses did. Now I want you to look at the results. The results are found in in Exodus 36, the next chapter over, verse 4 to 6. It says, "Then all the craftsmen who were doing all the work of the sanctuary came, each from work he was doing, and they spoke to Moses, saying, The people bring much more than enough for the service of the work which the Lord commanded us to do. So Moses gave a commandment," listen to this, "and they caused it to be proclaimed throughout the camp, saying, Let neither man nor woman do any more work for the offering of the sanctuary. And the people were restrained from bringing." Now, how would you like to hear an offering charge like that? Where Elder Bob gets up and he says, "Hey, we just got word from Pastor Dave. We have enough money. Don't give anymore." You know, it's possible. It's possible for us to have all that we need, but we've got to put our money on a mission. You can't think about it when it comes to offering time. You can't think about what you're going to give in January. And so that's why I'm wanting to help you and I put our money on a mission. I want to ask you to do two things, and it's very simple. Number one, and it's there in your notes, prayerfully consider what you will give above your tithes on a monthly basis. Get together with your family now in the month of November and December and say, okay, on top of our tithes, we are going to pledge to give $100 to the Lord, or $200, or maybe even $50. Start somewhere that you can manage, but don't make it real easy. Make it a step of faith. If 100 is too hard for you, start at 75 and believe God. But here's what I want you to promise God. As you see the increase, because you will, I want you to promise God you will increase that either by $2 or another $5. Now, when you decide on what you're going to give, the first type of that offering is going to be given on the last Sunday of December, the last Sunday of 2012. We're calling it the exit offering. We exit as a blessing, we enter as a blessing. We exit by faith, we enter by faith. And then the second thing, in order for you to get your money on a mission, is to, in your notes, pray about what you will give on Miracle Offering Day, the first Sunday of April. The first Sunday of April, Great Life United, in all 3 of our locations, will be giving our miracle offering. Now, what is a miracle offering? A miracle offering is something that is designated to a miracle that you are believing God for. It's a great offering. It's an offering that you prepare for 5 months in advance. We're not the first church to take up a miracle offering. I followed a church for many years in Sydney, Australia, before even implementing this in our church. In fact, this is the first time that we're implementing this yearly miracle offering. And I followed them and I followed their testimonies. And man, let me tell you what God had done for them. He paid off facilities, helped them to purchase land. And I asked the pastor and some of the people on staff who I knew really well, and I still know well, so what kind of offerings would you guys give? They said, oh my goodness. Some people started out with $500, and this was 5 years ago, and now those same people are giving entire paychecks. There are even other people who are giving 2 of their paychecks to the church. One business had given close to $10,000 on Miracle Sunday. Now, you might be saying, okay, why does it have to do with an amount? Because an amount always is a reflection of your passion and your faith. You know, a lot of people say, well, what about what Jesus said when this lady gave only 2 pennies, just 2 denarii? You know what? She didn't just give her 2 denarii. She gave everything she had. See, he said those people who had a lot gave out of their comfort, but she gave out of her need. And that's what I'm believing God for. April, the first Sunday of April, our miracle offering is going to be exactly that, a miracle offering. And so that's what we wanted to talk about tonight, church. I will visit again in December, and we'll bring back this heart and soul meeting, and we'll see where we are, and we'll begin to set things in place. But don't wait for the next meeting. Whatever thoughts you have for the church on a mission. You know, I was talking with CI, and she had this idea that after church, why don't we have an international food festival where people can come and taste the different foods, and this would be right after church. So that way, as music is playing and it's a real fun time, bouncers outside and everything, you know, the people have come and we can say to them, hey, at this same location, we'll be here next week. So why don't you come and visit with us? So I want you to allow your minds to soar. How are we going to get the church on a mission? How are we going to get our homes on a mission? Pastor Debbie's going to come in a few seconds. I want you to enjoy the rest of the heart and soul meeting with her. Discuss with her some ideas that you might have. If your idea maker is being blocked right now, then I just want to encourage you, be open to what God has to say. It's going to be great in the year 2013 because it's the year of the mission. God bless you.